member of this committee.
Dixon Lovega, representing Lesotho East. I'm a friend to this committee.
Next.
My name is Brian Mafunga, representing Likuyani Ward, a member of this committee.
I am Silas Yenji Muyeya, a member of this committee, and also representing the people of Idaho East from Ikolomani constituency.
Next.
Mheshimiwa Nandwa, representing Maraba North, member of this committee.
Bernard Mlama, Majority Whip.
My name is Honorable Elfas Chilosio, friend to this committee.
Thank you, honorable members. I also want to introduce our secretariat team, kindly starting by Principal Clerk. Introduce yourself. He's just around with us today.
Okay, Chair, my name is Nicholas Anyoktoi, the Director of Legislative Procedure and Committee Services. Thank you.
Then the Clerk of the committee.
Later, committee clerk.
Okay, proceed.
My name is Millicent Imbwaga, Secretariat.
Brian Minishi, Legal Officer.
Daniel Kitiavi, Land Secretariat.
Jocelyn Mugoya from Communication Department.
Nelson Kubati, Commissioner.
Okay, thank you. I guess you are our nominee for today. Isn't it so? Kindly assist him to use the micro unanswered, kindly. We believe you are our nominee for today.
Mic nyuma. Thanks. Washa mic. Nyuma.
Thank you, Chair. Yes, I am.
Thank you. As you said here, all these are the members of the public, members representing the people of Kakamega, and they're here with you here today, not to put pressure on you, but to look at your profile after being nominated by the governor. It's a practice that you shall go through the vetting of the county assembly before we go for approval. So before we proceed, I will ask our legal team, it's a parliamentary practice that whatever you say here, you take an oath first. So I'll ask our legal team to lead you into taking an oath, then we continue.
I, Engineer Ishmael, Maina, Makanga, do solemnly swear that the information that I shall give before this committee shall be the truth, the whole truth, nothing but the truth. So help me God.
So that the question. Welcome now, Engineer Ishmael. Kindly introduce yourself and tell us who you are with a specific focus on suitability for this post. Okay. Okay, but before we do that, I'm requesting you to help us forward to me your original documents if you have the file right with you. Okay. Now, will you please introduce yourself to us, who you are, with specific focus on your suitability for this post that you've been nominated to?
Thank you, Chair. I welcome this meeting. Having invited me for the reports. Chair, my name is Ishmaell, Maina, Makanga. I'm a resident of Makanga County, Mugari Sub-County, Mugari Ward, Marula, village, community. Legally, I'm a resident of Lurambe Sub-County. It's also East Ward. Currently, I work as the acting director of mechanical and transport in the Ministry of Roads, Public Works and Energy in this great county of Kakamega. Chair, I hold a master's degree in business administration, majoring in project management from Kenyatta University. I also hold a Bachelor of Science degree in Mechanical and Industrial Engineering from the University of Science and Technology. I have also successfully done my leadership courses, having done strategic leadership development program, as well as senior management course from Kenya School of Government, M campus. Chair, with regard to
mechanical
my responsibility with my background in engineering and the complementary course in business administration, I bring my analytical skills, critical thinking, as well as collaborative approach the ministry I've been nominated to, that is the Ministry of Lands, Survey, Physical Planning and Urban Areas. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. You've said you are you've done a master degree in engineering.
Degree in business administration.
Business administration, right? Project management. Are you okay? Is there any membership or professional association that you've in your academics that you were a member?
Thank you, sir. Yes, I am a professional registered engineers for Kenya. Equally, I'm a corporate member of the Institution of Engineers of Kenya.
Okay. Any honorable awards you've received from experience and studies?
Awards I have not received.
Okay. Any political affiliation in this county?
Thank you, Chair. I must confirm that's not affiliated to any political party.
And have you been okay? Have you ever been convicted to any matters, maybe either in court or dismissed from office?
Thank you very much, Chair. And confirm I have not been convicted in any matters before the locals or rather dismissal in any way.
Thank you. I think members can proceed. Okay, there's one more question I was forgetting. In your introductory remarks, you've not told us about your net worth. And source of income.
Thank you, Chair. Being in Essex, I'm a farm. I also do poultry treatment and milk farming. Apart from that, I'm also in the business. I do baking. So I have a bakery. My net worth is about 26,170,000.
So 26 million is earned from farming, and employment and business. Thank you. I think members, we can, but as we continue, members, I want the file for the original documents to move around, so that as we peruse, and then the nominee member shall be responding to questions as being asked by members. So I think, Honorable Member, I will invite Honorable Shienji to, yes, Mheshimiwa.
In the nominee's introduction, although from his papers I can say you are 35 years, but you didn't mention if you have a family or not.
Yeah, go ahead, our nominee.
Thank you, Chair. Yes, I do have a family. I'm married, and I have children.
Okay. Thank you. I think now Honorable Shenji, take the floor.
Thank you, Chair, and welcome Engineer Ishmaell Maina Makanga. As already stated by the Honorable Chair, we are here to share, following your nomination as a Chief Officer of this very important department in this county. I have one question for you, and I would want you to get me very, very clearly. My question is, kindly do give us an overview of the mandate of the department that you have been nominated to, as well as your expected duties in the portfolio you are nominated as well. Thank you.
In the maximum.
Thank you, Chair.
Yeah. So
I think the mandate of the Department of Lands, Surveying and Physical Planning entails land administration and management, as well as defining the land use by the county or the government, planning, special planning for the land that's available for the government, as well as offering surveying services to the county and other key stakeholders. And as far as the mandate is concerned, as a chief officer, my mandate will include and not limited to formulating and implementing policies that are there, policies and for the policies that are with the county government equally at the national level, to coordinate with other government agencies like the Ministry of Lands and the National Lands Commission. Ensuring that there is prudent management of resources. Resources could be financial and as well as human resource, and ensuring that we are accountable to even the committee and the house, that's the assembly.
Thank you, honorable members. Any additional from that? Any additional question to that as an observation? Just before we move to the next question, our nominee, like for me on the matters survey, what measures will you put in place supposing you get that maybe government land has not been surveyed, that's being and is being encroached, and you are taking over the office as the chief officer for lands?
I think that could be a metaphor. And in as far as I am concerned as the chief, I'll be able to, first of all, do a lot. But we will be imagining they have encroached when they have not encroached. So it's important that demarcation be done and audit done, and using the available procedures and legally available institutions, we should be able to recover back the government land.
Okay, Honorable Duanga.
Thank you, Chair. Thank you, Engineer Maina. Just a follow-up question regarding the mandate of your department. Ministry of Lands or Land Affairs are a devolved function, but we have issues. For example, we have a district survey office, a regional surveyor, and your own county director of surveys who will head. So I don't know, using your critical thinking, how will you harmonize this to diffuse conflict between you and the national government, and also not go overboard in devolution?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I think the governments in general, they must have realized that that is squarely anticipated, and hence the establishment of National Lands Commission. So as a chief officer, it's important that we liaise with the National Land Commission to ensure that any disputes that may arise are settled within the available framework.
Okay.
Talking of National Land Commission, I hope you are aware that it's a different entity that tackles other issues, but not for, what do I say, not to solve disputes. What I'm talking about is how will you relate with the regional surveyor, with his staff, and your county director of surveys?
Mr. Chairman, I think it's important as a county to embrace coordination. And this coordination, as per the Constitution, it is clearly stated that the national government and the county government, yes, they are distinct units, but they must work in concurrence. And that means in consultation in some of critical issues. But again, supposing that dispute may arise, as the honorable member has asked, I think it's important to create a joint ethnic approach, and maybe also including the leadership of the House, if needs be to include the committee, because they are the representatives of the people, to have the matter addressed.
Yeah, thank you. Lastly, from Honorable Change on the same.
Thank you, Chair. My question, our nominee, Engineer Ishmael, goes to issue of boundary disputes involving the county land. Assuming that likely this vetting favors you, and also the report writing favors you, and you are sworn in to assume the duties of that office, how soon do you think you will commence the operations or the duties, or rather the establishment of the disputed county land, where we have got so much land belonging to the county that has been grabbed and nobody knows where it is, and there is massive boundary dispute thereon? How soon do you think you can commence that work?
Thank you, Chair.
Yes, go ahead.
I must admit, land, the moat, the essential, and the remote resource. And as a matter of giving timelines, I think, in my view, it's important that I will go back to, first of all, prepare a clear plan. And the plan will look at if there will be any technical support you need, any financial support you need, and if that is the case, it will mean, first of all, I have to come back to this committee. So if there are relevant areas where the House must support, then that can be well channeled through the committee for lands. But now giving the exact timelines might be a little bit challenging, because all these processes involving other stakeholders like the county assembly requires timelines. But as soon as we establish that we need to have these matters resolved, we will quickly embark on reviewing our plans so that that is well captured on our plan.
Okay, thank you. Yes, Bonandwa.
Okay, through the chairperson, I have a quick one on the overview. The Constitution of Kenya provides, under the 4th schedule, part 2, that land and housing is devolved. We have seen the national government implementing housing. What is your view over that?
Chair, thank you for that.
Yeah.
And maybe, Chair, I will request your protection. I want to believe that my nomination was where I need the portfolio, lands, survey, and physical planning. Chair, I'll draw your attention. I have a copy of the executive appointment, which was which went out by the governor.
You have that.
Clearly indicating that I have been nominated to the portfolio land survey and physical planning. I have a copy of the advert from the County Public Service Board, which clearly indicated that the position was land survey and physical planning. Chair, equally, I have gone through the executive order, which states that the position remains land survey and physical planning.
Okay.
However, Chair, when I received the invitation to attend this hearing, the communication was in variance with what came out. So, Chair, I would request that you protect me from questions regarding housing, because that could be another portfolio.
So do you mean that your invitation for the vetting is different from your nominee? Because you're saying that you have this variance between the letter you received for vetting. Is that what you said?
Yes. Indications, banks, survey, and house.
Okay. And the nominee for the nomination?
The support and the items indicated lands, survey, and physical crime.
Thank you. You're protected. I think Honorable
Chair.
Honorable Kosi. Can we address it as well?
Chair, while the nominee is well protected by the seat, of concern to me is the nominee outrightly telling this committee that in the event he is assigned a different role from the one he's being vetted for, he will not undertake until this House so approves that nomination? That is just something I would really want to get from the nominee.
Okay, can you respond to that, please, our nominee?
Chair, I think that I did this. Even though the departments of housing fall under one same ministry, but I think, Chair, referring to the Public Appointments Act, and which I will invite you to have a look at. Section 7, 8. I will request Chair for your protection on the same.
I think our nominee, Engineer Ishmael, the letter that was tabled in this assembly, or in this committee, about your nomination, it is lands, housing, urban areas, and physical planning, but chief officer on lands, administration, survey, and housing. So Honorable Nandwa is quite in order to ask you that question so you can respond. It was just a simple question that...
Chair, you can read him that letter of invitation.
No letter of invitation? Shall we read it? You see, I'm reading to him the notice of nominee of chief officers that was served to this assembly. Yeah, so housing is not excluded. Our nominee, it's not excluded.
Chair, I will request that the honorable member maybe repeats the question.
Honorable Nandwa.
Okay. My question was, according to the Constitution of Kenya 2010, the devolved function for the county government, housing, lands and housing is devolved, right? And we have seen national government implementing housing. What is your view over the same?
And before you respond to that, Bwana Engineer Ishmael, even the letter of invitation, it states clearly that you are invited to serve as chief of staff for lands, administration, survey, and housing. So housing is not excluded. It's part of your mandate.
Thank you very much.
Okay.
Mind you, I was just told that.
Okay.
Why the balance? Because the appointments, the nomination, and the slot that was advertised, and the executive order was in variance with the invitation. But that is something that the committee will address when we embark. Back to the question of the honorable member, Chair. I think it's important.
Excuse me, before you proceed, Engineer Ishmael, you know, we want to deal with the matter that is very clear. We got a clear communication from the executive, from the office of the governor, that you were invited as a chief officer for lands, administration, survey, and housing. Will you serve us with a letter that is omitting this, that shows that the housing is omitted from a mandate? Because we don't want to vet you here and it comes out later that we are vetting a wrong candidate on a wrong ministry. Go ahead, the commissioner, please. That's it. What is the what is? Land server. So can you help people confirm that up? Good. Yeah, but okay, your argument is just very simple. Our nominee, one engineer, I can see you've earmarked land survey and physical planning. In the Kenya Gazette, as you said, it is chief officer, what is it? Lands, survey, and physical planning. But when it comes, okay, you know, the Ministry of Land is wide. So he asked you a simple question. Can you just respond to that? Because housing is attached to Ministry of Lands.
Chair.
Yes.
Let us get it straight. We have a letter from the office of the governor.
Yes.
Addressed to this assembly through the speaker.
Yeah.
Number 5. That is the department office, lands, housing, urban area, and physical planning. Functional head is chief officer, land, administration, survey, and housing. Nominee, engineer Ishmael Maina Makanga. So I don't know why we are evading this housing role, because the letter that came from the office of the governor to this assembly, and that is what we used to refer in the communication that came from the assembly inviting you to this committee. So housing is part of the assignment we are actually vetting you for.
So, yes, Honorable
Chair, if nominee is not comfortable with the question, please, Chair, adjourn, then nominee just leave the house, then he wait for that appointment for that question.
Now, Bwana Ishmael, are you able to respond to Honorable Charles Nando's question? Or can I ask him to repeat? So you will not respond to the question? Okay. Okay, fine. Thank you. Now, can I allow Honorable Nando to repeat the question, or you can respond?
The people want the issue of government fixing the county gives.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, which is devolved.
Chair, I want to believe that the national government having such responsibility being done at their level, I would invite the committee to look at the interest. Maybe that would be the best interest of the common management. The committee, you may be aware, both the national government and the county government serve the interests of managers. So if the national government has enough resources which has been appropriated by the National Assembly to carry out such projects, then in my view, I would also request that through this committee, we could as well appropriate enough resources to uplift the standards of our people in Kakamega.
Honorable Nando, are you satisfied with the answer?
Chair, you know, we want to hire the nominee to work as a public servant. This country is guided by the Constitution of Kenya, which is the supreme law. And if an abnormality has happened, we must have the projection that in the event the abnormality is corrected, how prepared are you to undertake now that function, right? And I'll invite the nominee on, just if you allow me. It's not true. I'm perusing the Constitution. I'll invite you on Article 187 of the Constitution of Kenya 2010, which says a function or power of a government at one level may be transferred to a government at the other level by agreement between the governments if the function or power will be more effectively performed or exercised by the receiving government. And B, the transfer of the function or power is not prohibited by the legislation under which it is to be performed or exercised. Article 2 of the same says, if a function or power is transferred from a government at one level to a government at the other level, arrangements shall be put in place, ensure that the resources necessary for the performance of the function or exercise of the power are transferred. And B, constitutional responsibility for the performance of the function or exercise of the power shall remain with the government to which it is assigned by the 4th schedule.
Chair.
Yes, Honorable Kosi.
Chair, my opinion is, while I appreciate the very good submission being made by Honorable Nandwa, we agree that it's in public domain that not all Schedule 4 of the Constitution functions to the county government have been transferred from the national government to the county governments.
Yeah.
There's an agency that is chaired by the Office of the Deputy President, the intergovernmental agency that actually deals with that. I will appreciate that we stick to the first question, which sought the opinion of the nominee on a devolved function that is being handled by the national government, an opinion which I will say he's given, then we can pronounce ourselves later based on the opinion that was given, other than delving into the operationalization and implementation of the Constitution, because it's a bigger matter that calls for several other heads that should be involved, other than just the nominee, in the interest of the exercise today.
Thank you. Thank you, Honorable Kosi, for that guideline.
Chair,
okay.
As much as I want to agree with the Honorable Kosi,
yes,
you see, he's speaking for the nominee. I wanted to hear that from the nominee.
Okay.
Or maybe if we can change they can either change the seats. Thank you.
Okay. I think our nominee, do you have anything to add on that question, or?
I raise it.
Okay, thank you. Let's move. Question, last to Honorable Luanga.
Thank you, Chair.
But Honorable Luanga, okay, now I want us to move very fast because of issues of time. And our nominee, I want you to be aware that every question you are responding, there's a score sheet. So each member shall be awarding you marks on depending on how you respond to each questions. So Honorable Longa, welcome.
Thank you very much, Chair, and also Engineer Ishmael. First of all, before I ask a question, I appreciate you're from a different field and you're coming to a land sector. Quite an accomplished engineer, I've seen your credentials, but truly you are a foreigner in the land sector. So I'll not delve much into the technical aspect, but further to that, I would just like you to tell us, if appointed to the office we are now waiting you for, what strategic objectives, stock policy, directions or priorities have you planned in your mind for the department, both in the short term and long term? And so that we don't wander around, let me guide you with the permission of the chair.
Yes, go ahead.
The department or the ministry you're going to is a perennial problem of underfunding, especially the Department of Survey. Number two, we have a problem with analog records. We cannot compare a big county like this to a small county like Vihiga. That is digitization problem. And then lastly, staffing. You are going to be the chief officer for that particular docket, and you rely very much on the technical person. We've had a problem with a very important key person, the county director of survey. For the many years we've been in this assembly, no appointment has been done. The latest was done and they did not appoint, despite the fact that they had a candidate who qualified. Why am I bringing you this? Because you will rely on their technical advice, do cabinet memos to help those strategic moves. So please, how will you handle those?
Thank you very much, Chair. I might appreciate the question from the honorable member. In any organization or department, there must be a strategic approach to address the concerns. The approach could be short term or long term. The short term, I think, first of all, it will be important to make sure there is proper digitization of our records. Number two, if you fail to plan well, if you fail to engage your human resource the way another member has stated, then we also have a problem in terms of absorption. Problem in absorption.
Yeah.
So for effective planning and prudent resource utilization, it is also important to make sure that there is capacity building. Many departments, maybe they are not built, and that is key for any realization of results. Chair, through this committee, I would quickly request for more resource allocation. Because you could be planning for even capacity building, but without resources, it becomes a nightmare. But I want to believe through this honorable house, we should be able to make adjustments to our budgets so that departments within the ministry are well resourced. When it comes to long term, Mr. Chair, I think it will be very important for us to work out on special planning.
Okay.
An idea that will give us proper utilization of resources like land. I think maybe in terms of planning for future developments, it will be important that maybe proposals and be submitted through the House Committee, and so that if we have lands spread across the county which have not been captured in any of our records, we make sure that is well done, and even improving on our geographical information system. Thank you, Chair. I submit.
Okay, thank you. Yes, Honorable Luanga.
Yeah, just thank you very much for that input. But I just want you to be specific on this issue. You may not be, this thing is not working. You may not be well endowed into the technical aspect of what I mentioned, but as an administrator, for example, the issue of underfunding. Let me now divulge that we have in many cases allocated land money to that ministry, and specifically for surveying purposes, because the law is there. We are very much behind. There's something your technocrats will tell you, this is called georeferencing. They'll sit you down and tell you, we have never implemented it and they are creating chaos. Now, when we allocate money and it is wired out, what will be in your administrative strategy? What will you do to make sure that that money is retained in that vote? Because the problem in that ministry is they'll always remove and leave a paltry 200,000, which cannot do anything. What will you do as an administrator?
Thank you, Chair. I think maybe there is a lapse. And I think in terms of appropriating funds is a function of the Honorable House. So if maybe the funds have been allocated and then in the long run they are removed, then it means either the professionals who are there are not in a position to actualize what they had planned for, and or maybe there is no that goodwill. So as an administrator, like I said, it's important to work with all the stakeholders, the technocrats in the department, and I even believe even this committee, they are technocrats. So we must involve each and every step to ensure that some of these programs are realized. And monitoring and evaluation is key when it comes to such. Thank you, Chair. I submit.
Thank you. Can we pass on that question now, Mushmo? Can you move?
For the interest of time, I'll accept that.
Okay, fine. Honorable Doris.
Thank you, Chair. The Ministry of Lands, Urban Areas and Physical Planning has persistently had a low absorption rate of its budget. What strategies will you put in place to ensure the implementation of the projects under your portfolio and improve the absorption rates?
Thank you, Chair. I think my submission, I also mentioned something to do with the absorption.
Yeah.
However, just to maybe put more blood, I think as a department it's important. First of all, to do early planning. Early planning is very good. Again, it's important to prioritize our projects so that we ensure the projects being implemented align squarely to the strategic objective of the county government, and maybe just to put more so the manifesto that His Excellency has already put in place. Also, in terms of priority, it's important to actualize projects on need basis so that Mwananchi can be able to feel and have an impact of what we as a department are doing. Then, like I've said, it's also important to ensure that there is consistent and well laid out monitoring and evaluation process. That gives us, as a department, the tool to be able to give reports on what we are doing in the department, these projects, this is where we are, and so on and so forth. So I submit, Chair.
Thank you. Honorable Nguza.
Thank you, Chair. Engineer, in Kakamega, we have settlement areas such as Joakali, Kefingo, Marava, Amalemba, Masingo, Mjini, Shivale, areas that are within Kakamega and Mumias municipalities have informal housing plans that are not decent for human habitation. In regards to decent life and also land title lease for development.
Okay, our nominee.
This is member of the county.
Engineer, settlement areas such as Joakali, Kefingo, Marava, Amalemba, Masingu, Mjini, Shibale areas that are within Kakamega and Mumias municipalities have informal housing plans that are not decent for human habitation. What is your department going to do to facilitate residents of these areas live in decent housing conditions, and two, to have land title lease for development purposes?
Thank you very much, Chair.
Yeah.
I think the first thing to do is important funds for informal upgrade of informal settlement, so that then our people can live decent life. Finally, as a chief officer, it's important to have a good coordination with other departments in our county government, and so that critical infrastructure like roads, water, and sanitation are able to be factored in respective budgets for those particular areas the honorable member has mentioned. Thank you very much, I submit.
Okay. Honorable Mbale.
Yes, Engineer Maina is living in Mumias Triangle land, are currently in public land belonging to the county. What plans do you have to have the occupants resettled elsewhere and ensure the Mumias Triangle land is secured? Got me right? It has been there since. So I don't under your leadership now. What are you going to do?
Okay, can you respond to that, please? The Mias Triangle has been grabbed by.
Thank you, Chair.
Yes.
I think it would be important if it is true they have grabbed. It's important to carry out an audit to find out as to whether there are settlers there who, in one way or the other, they were compensated and they are still there. And if there are other occupants who are there and they have not been compensated or given alternative settlement areas, then I would engage the relevant stakeholders to carry out a public participation to make sure that these people are relocated in a humane and as per the available laws, and to have that parcel of land secured, fenced, and even the documents placed in safe custody within the available structures of the county government.
I think just a quick one over the same. Suppose these people who have settled there or purporting to have settled there, they are the residents of Kakamega. So any plans you have, any arrangements you may have in future, maybe are you resettling them or will you just leave them there and fend the land?
I think I had mentioned that it will be important to carry out public participation with other stakeholders.
Okay.
And so that we are able to identify if we are settling them, we can have that
number 7
being agreed upon.
Okay.
In that particular process.
Chair.
Thank you.
Chair, please. Yes. On the same matter, you know, our nominee must understand that in this term we are at 30 year. This ministry has been being run, and the Mumias Triangle thing, it has been there. Already this government has done some works there. There is roads which have been done by the government of Kakamega. So which kind of public participation will he undertake when already the government has done some structures, infrastructure in the same land?
I think Honorable Nandwa, the nominee might have responded based on how he was asked the question, and he was not sure. Okay, he's not sure whether the government has done any development. When he go there, that's when we'll encounter those developments and maybe come up with other different structures.
Chair, we are in a vetting session. It is wrong for nominee to give us an irrelevant response. In this event, you see, I will rather say I'll peruse the documents that are there to see if they are legally there or not. But
Honorable Nandwa, you have also become a nominee because now you are again responding to
Mr. Chair.
Responding to his questions.
Mr. Chair.
Yes, Honorable Sasita.
I think just to somewhat give guidance, public participation, the way the nominee has said, public participation is something that is continuous. Projects come, get finished, the others come, project gets stalled, we must invoke another public participation. I think, Mr. Chair, we should not antagonize the nominee. We should.
The nominee, thank you. Okay, let's move on. Honorable Nandwa, allow us to move on to the next question. Question, Honorable Titwa.
Thank you, Chair. Our nominee, I have an issue and I have a question on title deeds. Some of lands hosting county properties, county projects, by the lands don't have a title deed. Some of the county departments are inquiring lands for their planned projects. For example, in my ward, how are you going to ensure that the title deeds for these lands are inquired and maintained within your custody?
Thank you very much, Chair. I must admit that is a very good question. And like I mentioned in my submission, as a county, I will be the first person to engage other agencies like the Ministry of Lands to make sure that all the relevant documentation of all county assets of land are processed. Those that have not been worked on to get titles engage the relevant ministry to make sure that titles are processed in good time, even before such type of developments are done. And in planning, it's important that before other ministries erect projects, they must have ownership. So it's important also to guide our ministries and departments the importance of ensuring that we have ownership documents before we carry out such massive projects. So as an administrator or chief officer of lands, I'll make sure that I work with the Ministry of Lands to make sure the titling is done in good time.
Yes, thank you. Honorable Kosi.
Chair, you know, I'm at loss. When the nominee says as Chief Officer Lands will work with the Ministry of Land, we make it look like the Ministry of Land and the Chief Officer Land are two separate institutions or entities.
Yes.
Because it is now him with the mandate to actually ensure that these places or parcels that don't have title deeds get title deeds. Maybe he will think of a plan and say, this will be my thinking or this will be my plan. But again, we pray that if he's actually approved, as a committee, we can still have this engagement with him to actually now see whether he will be living the real dream. But let him just know that as a chief officer, the ministry is not separate. It is still the same ministry, and he becomes the accounting officer within the ministry. So we expect him to remain accountable for everything that happens within the ministry. Thank you.
Well guided, Honorable Kosi. Yes, William Ishmael.
For one, I think I'll cite maybe he may be right, because titling is still under national government. And when you do your business on land, you go to the Ministry of Lands, which is in the central government, to get your titles. So I think maybe that's what he meant. I tend to think, and you remember my first question, that's the questions I was asking, how do you affect conflict? But somehow it's not come out clearly. Thank you.
Yeah, I think our nominee, the members just want to see that ownership, that when you respond to any question, it is you carrying out the mandate, not you as the chief officer and the Ministry of Lands. You are part of it. Okay?
Mr.
So
Chair.
in your subsequent questions, when you respond, just try to ensure that you bring that ownership element.
Mr. Chair.
Yes.
Just to follow up that issue of titling, I want to ask just a point of question. If you find that the county government of Kakamega doesn't, the land bank register is absent, how are you going to start? What are you going to do about it? And you know that the land bank is one of the essence issues that brings an absorption of the department.
Absolutely. Okay, go ahead.
Thank you. Chair would first of all say that I don't anticipate that of ban land bank not in place. But again, if that happens, I think it's important to involve authority. That is what we'll do. Thank you, sir.
Okay, Honorable Shenji.
Thank you. On that note, issues of titling, it's on record that there is massive corruption at the Office of Lands when it comes to issues of titling, and it's within the ranks of registrars and clerks in that particular office. My question is, in your position, because you will be working together as a team, what do you think, or do you think there's anything you can do, given this position, to assist in that area, because we get so many complaints Thank you.
Thank you, Chair, for the question. I think, Chair, I'm not bragging, but I think I have very good interpersonal skills. So with my interpersonal skills and having been aware that titling is a function still at the national government, then I'll be able to bring on board the land registrar, Kakamega, all the complaints that may arise from the public. I should be able to sit down with the registrar to address the matter. But if then the registrar, I don't get audience with the registrar, I can escalate the matter to even this honorable committee and the highest authority of Kakamega County, including the county commissioner, or even His Excellency, so that some of the issues can be addressed and our Wananchi can get services as enshrined in our constitution. I submit.
Okay, thank you. Lastly, I would just like us to, I would want you to tell us your understanding about the National Land Commission, and what collaboration measures will you use in execution of your roles and activities? And then lastly, I also like you to share with us any challenges you know about this department you've been nominated for, and what mitigations maybe will you employ to ensure to overcome the challenges.
Thank you, Chair. I think the National Land Commission is a constitutional body that has been put in place to manage the process, to manage the useful of government land, which could be the national or the county government. Mr. Chair, I think as the chief officer it will be important that to have that collaborative approach and participate in National Land Commission policy reviews and even policy making process. Mr. Chair, National Land Commission, since it was put in place, it has been able to assist government agencies to identify their land and assist them in the process of even reclaiming it back. So, as a chief officer lands, it will be important, and that is what I will do, to make sure that there is that good working relation between my department and the National Land Commission, so that as a county we are able to secure part of the lands that we're supposed to reclaim back, including the one that you have just mentioned about the Mias China. Mr. Chair, if I look at some of the challenges that maybe the department would be facing, one, I think they would be underfunded. And maybe due to the scarcity of resources, then they get limited funding to carry out their programs. Some of the challenges, again, we have a problem with the records, the registry. We are still operating in an old way of doing things. Capacity building is also key, and it's a challenge. Another challenge, and maybe this I will pause. I don't know whether at some point, even the department has been able to bring on board and share with the committee some of these challenges that could be there, and so that this committee can make appropriate recommendations to assist the performance of the department. So as I come in, that would be my first point. I will ensure that first of all the employees and the technical staff in my department are able to hold with the committee on lands to be able to understand what the challenges they are facing, how they are able to come up with solutions to those challenges. If there are issues to do with encroachment and boundary disputes, the committee on land should be able to address by assisting my department. And like I said, the underfunding, I'll be able to submit the memorandum to the committee so that as the House appropriates, then we should be able to get more funding to be able to run our activities. I submit, Chair.
Thank you.
Chair, just to add something, our nominee has not delved into how he'll utilize, make use the coordination between the department and the legal department of the county. Now lands being an issue, a very emotive issues when it comes to litigation issues, and we have so many of them in court. How are you going to use the county attorney's office to propel success for the county?
Chair, maybe before he responds, maybe allow me to say this so that he responds cumulatively.
Okay.
One, we appreciate that maybe this could be the youthful nominee that has been presented to this house. And young people, while we appreciate them ascending to power, sometimes they get overwhelmed by the new big positions and they want the entire world to fail them. The nominee before us has served this county in the capacity of the transport officer, if I check my records right, and having directly with his CV. And at the time when he served as the transport officer, there was a public outcry within the county from his juniors, the drivers of essential service vehicles in the county, that he either refused to fuel the vehicles or frustrated the fueling of the vehicles. Today is going to become the chief officer, Ministry of Lands, with several employees, staffs under him. How is he going to work with them? Are they going to feel leadership service kind of, or they're going to see a boss around them? Two, at the age of 35, assuming the chief officer position, if the system, the current regime does favor him, and then at the end of the regime, he is not favored to maintain the position, will he still be ready to work under another person now in a lower position, or he will choose to exit because he's actually opting for a contract when he's already on a PNP terms? How will he behave when there is a change of regime and the new regime does not favor him in the very position we are vetting him? Will he resume fall back to the position he has held, or what will be his take?
Okay, thank you. Please respond to that.
I will respond by saying that I already indicated that in all these processes, we will engage relevant stakeholders, including the office of the Attorney General, because I mean the county attorney.
Yes.
Because there are issues to do with litigation arguments, which are squarely lie within that office. If I respond to the question from the honorable members regarding my aptitude for this job, Chair, I want to believe that with my 10 years experience at the county government, I have the capacity to work any given position. Taking the position of chief officer does not mean that I am resigning from the county government. I will still perform And even if called upon to be a licensed professional engineer. Even if I called upon by my mother ministry to offer my professional opinion regarding matters engineering, Chair, that I will still do because that's what I'm licensed to do. As matters that come after elections, Chair, I think when I'm given the contract, it clearly stipulates that you will work for a period of 2 years, 1 year, or that time frame that is there. And it's important that I state I am law abiding. If the time comes, I will go back to my original assignment. And in my performance of my duties, Chair, I did not underwrite. I work with everyone. I have worked with those of lower cadre drivers, as he has mentioned. And I think in the history of this county, I'm the longest serving head of transport. I served for 7 years. And if Chair, I would have been a person who fails to meet my obligations as a head of transport, then I would have been removed long time ago. But I must take an opportunity to thank the government for the period I served in that particular capacity. Thank you.
Okay.
Chair.
Chair, just a bit, Chair.
Okay, go ahead.
Thank you, Chair. I have just observation or a question. Before His Excellency the Governor appoints you as Chief Officer, have you been working?
Yes.
Have you resigned that position? Okay, thank you, Chair.
Yes, lastly on Bokosi. On Bonano, do you have something?
I'm sorry to take you back, but I had a small clarification on land principles, because the nominee is aware that under Article 60, the policy of land, principles of land policy, and read together with Section 4 of Land Act 2012. To administer land in this country, one of the key or parameters that are anchored to propel the land administration is to put that land in proper use. In this county, we have a policy on food security. We have an agricultural policy over the same. And under housing, under planning and administration, we have a foundation role, all anchored on land, which means the revenue, the mother or the queen to lay the revenue egg in this county is on land, majorly. Now, how are you going to bring this on board? How are you going to make sure that the land in Kakamega County is put on proper use in terms of productivity under your administration?
Thank you, Chair. I think I mentioned in submission that it will be important to carry out an audit. You get to know where these parcels of land are situated. And in my submission for the long-term strategies was to employ the use of GIS. And so that we're able to get to know this parcel of land is this particular place, what are we able to do with it? This one is this particular video, what are we able to do with it? And like I also mentioned, as a chief officer lands, I would advise the county government not to embark on developing on land that they have not secured ownership. And that would be very, very important.
Yeah.
Moving forward. As a minister.
Thank you. Okay, Honorable Gray, the last one, please. The last one, Honorable Gray.
Thank you, Chair. Mr. Engineer, I want you to tell us, because maybe, I know we have some disputes, land dispute, between our neighbor counties. How are you going to tackle that issue if you are considered? Thank you.
I think, Chair, I appreciate the question from the honorable member. In this particular case, it will be important to incorporate an intergovernmental approach, because there are responsibilities of the national government, and in this particular case, there are also responsibilities of our department. And if we have under dispute with a neighboring county, they also have their department of lands. But then in this particular case, that's why we have the existence of the National Land Commission. As a chief officer lands, in this particular case, I will bring on board the National Land Commission to assist us in addressing the matter. I submit.
Thank you, our nominee. I think, members, this comes to the end of our vetting. And now, our nominee, before we conclude, will you please give us your parting shot before we leave? Welcome.
Thank you, Chair. I will take this opportunity to sincerely thank this committee, this honorable community, for having invited me to appear for hearing. And I will pray that the committee considers my nomination and approves my nomination for appointment. And like I have mentioned, it will be my duty to ensure that there is utmost performance in my department. And that will bring upon if there is that synergistic approach towards the realization of our goals. That is the executive and the legislature. I submit, Chair.
Thank you. Members, this comes to the end of our vetting. I'll ask one member to propose. Honorable Shienji, and then
I second.
Thank you. The meeting stands adjourned. Now, our nominee, you are free to leave. Thank you so much. Wish you success.
Chairman, lovely.
Okay, fine. Go ahead. Okay, fine. You are free now. You are at liberty to leave. Yeah, I'll take now. Get a music and a max and max. Okay. I think we are done with the meeting. Now, members.